Hey guys, welcome. Ralph Havens here. Friday. I love Fridays. I love all days. Fridays I get to hang out with my boys, Ben and Baden. And lately Jen has been tagging along, even though it's supposed to be her admin day. So we get to hang out with her and go to the bike park. It's a beautiful day in Bellingham. Rained a little last night, but it's just great. And I went on a great run and saw one of my friends on the run after I was praying for to just understand something. And afterwards, after I met him on the trail and then continued on my run, I was like, oh, I don't know if I did a good job there. I didn't know if I did a good job. I was like, why did I start talking so much? Maybe because I do a lot of talking. But one of my rule sets that I've made for myself is as long as my rule set is if it comes out of my mouth, it's useful. And I've prayed to God to like, please speak through me. So sometimes it comes out like, why did I say that? And it's like, well, later I find it was for a reason. Like once I was with I used to have a PR and marketing person, and she was amazing. But she got me a meeting with a guy that had been the head of neurology in San Diego's Mercy Hospital system. And so there I was in a meeting with him. And it's what I used to do, meet with doctors to get them to send me clients. And we used to call them patients back then. Now I call my people, my clients. But so there I was talking to him about my therapy and energy stuff and the way we help people if they're healing. And he said, well, what does it look like? And I said, well, it's kind of like the laying on of hands, like in the Bible. And he goes, oh. And then we were walking out, and my PR and marketing person, Julia, she was like, why did you say that? Are you crazy? What do you mean the laying on of hands? He's going to think you're like crazy. And I'm like, I don't know. Sorry, I just messed up. And I got back to the office, and I got a nice email from him. Amazing email. He's my friend now, although I haven't seen him in a long time. And later we used to go to coffee and hang out and do stuff. And but he told me, I went through a really hard time, and his wife had passed away, and he loved her, and the idea of like being the medical doctor of your wife, I guess that's not quite kosher or right or whatever. In the medical world, you should have somebody else, and so he was prescribing her medications, and she passed away, and he got sent up for a review, like of his medical license, and so he was telling me this story, and he said, yeah, it was a very dark part of time for me, and he said, and then I became a Christian, and then I took up Taekwondo, and now he's a black belt in Taekwondo. I saw him in my office once, and he jumped up, this like 50-something-year-old man, and he jumped up, and his feet went way up high, like shoulder height, and he touched them. And I'm like, whoa. So he's coming to me so that he could perform better as an athlete. But so then it made sense, like, oh my goodness, the laying on of hands thing, the Christian thing, it just came out. And this morning I was running along, and I was praying to God. I believe in God. And so that's interesting, because it's like, how do you have a belief? Do you scientifically know there's a God? Is there a God? Have you proven it? It's what I believe. So I'm running along, and I prayed to God, because I was like, please help me understand people. A little controversial right now, but there's so many people wearing masks, and then there's some that aren't. And we're coming up on the political election here in the United States, and one candidate is like making fun of the masks and like, this is ridiculous. And the other one is like totally masked up. And you see people walking around like they're part of a movement, and in a mask, like they're doing something to save the planet or save the world or save the US or something, and protect themselves from hurting other people. So big hearts on both sides probably, but there I was like, I just want to understand them, because I've been looking at research about 2 hours a week. About 2 hours a week, I've been reading through peer-reviewed research. I've been looking at peer-reviewed research. I've been watching The High Wire with Del Bigtree, an investigative journalist, a medical journalist, and he's been showing us the research, and I've been then clicking through the links and reading the research, and since about March, the whole focus of that, thehighwire.com, has been about coronavirus, of course. And so I've been reading about it. And at first, nobody knew what it was and what's going on in China. And so we started looking, and then there was an imperial model from London that was saying 2 million people were going to die in the US. And Neil Ferguson was like this mathematician guy that was spouting up these numbers. And then the World Health Organization said, this is what's going to happen. So we got to like start to like be careful. We're going to overrun our medical systems. So all sorts of stuff started to happen. And so what Jen and I do, and really we do it 2 hours a week, every week. And we've been doing that actually for a few years, for about 3 years, but since March, totally on this coronavirus and, the masks and the lockdown procedures and collateral damage and really looking, because we just want to know. And so there I was asking, like, I just want to understand the people that are wearing masks, because I don't understand, because I've looked through, read through, listened to the scientists on both sides, and I don't see the studies that say that these cloth masks stop the spread of coronavirus. I haven't seen them. So I'm running along and asking, like, I just want to understand. And there's my friend. So we start talking and chit-chatting, and it's like, no big deal. I haven't seen him in a while. Used to be my running buddy back when he ran with people. And he puts his mask on. And so I just started talking, and I was like, dude, that mask doesn't do anything. And he's like, what? And so he started off, and I was trying to understand, like, I said, what makes you think it does anything? And he said, well, I read the headlines. I believe these work. And I said, yeah, but belief is one thing. Did you look at the studies? Have you read the studies, And he goes, I don't have time to read the studies. He said, my anxiety and depression is off the charts. And then he said that it was getting worse talking to me. And I said, what? And his wife's a doctor. And I'm like, send me one research study, just one, that says that wearing these cloth masks do some good, or, the safety of them. And, for me, when I run, I have a nose that runs a little bit. Sometimes in the winter, like today, I wore little cotton gloves, because it's like, there's stuff that comes out of my nose when I run. And the thought of like having a mask and it just goes into a cloth mask. Ugh. So I was trying to understand, like, why are all these people wearing masks? Because I've read research after research after research and listened to all the different doctors on both sides, and then went and looked at the research that they were quoting. And I got to tell you, I line up with Scott Atlas, the doctor from Stanford that's now in the White House talking to us for the last month. And so I was trying to understand, but my friend was just talking about beliefs and saying it's in headlines, and there's all these problems, and we're saving the world. And Jen and I have seen some really horrific news right now. I don't even want to say it, how the bad things that we've seen that have happened because of the lockdown. And really bad things. So we're looking and we're trying to understand, and I just don't understand. I don't understand. I get it that somebody's just watching headlines and not reading the article and not clicking on any kind of scientific studies and not reading the studies and not examining the studies and not looking at who funds the studies and looking at what the conclusions say, and does it match up with what the data says in the actual study. And, when you read science, it's not like you just believe in science. To say I believe in science, that's the most unscientific thing you can say. Say the science is settled on anything, that's the most unscientific thing you can say. Science is about further study, further questions, questioning everything, and then taking a look. And so if anybody has studies, actual research studies, peer-reviewed, please send them to me, because I'm trying to understand. So I didn't do a good job because I talk too much, and I do talk a lot. But that's what's on my mind right now, because these are crazy times, and it seems like there's two different camps out there right now, and we're about to enter a big political election. And so my call to action, I guess, for us all is to go read some science, not to look at scientists and just listen to what they say. Definitely not to just look at headlines and just believe something. And look at the science. Read the science. Look at who study. They have to disclose who funds the study, where's the money coming from, and look at who owns the patents on these vaccines. That's an eye opener. Look at who owns the patents. Spoiler alert: Fauci owns a patent on Moderna vaccine. So So anyway, this one might be taken down from YouTube. I don't know, but hope this gets everybody thinking a little bit and reading some research, peer reviewed research. That's all I ask. Okay, bye now.